Welcome to Scotch Plains, New Jersey. This is Verizon Fios, Channel 22, and Comcast Cable, Channel 34. Scotch Plains Television. Your town, your TV.
Scotch Plains Television presents a meeting of the Township Council. And now, from the municipal building, the Scotch Plains Mayor.
We're going to do yours first, the environmental, right? No, we're going to move public comments.
Okay, they're going to be confused because I asked them.
Why?
I told them to.
Why aren't they doing environmental?
Yeah, but I told them to now public comment.
Just
Okay.
hold on, we're ready. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Township of Scotch Plains business meeting of April 21st, 2015. Miss Lucina, if you would.
I wish to make the following announcement to show compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, known as Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of New Jersey, 1975. Notice of this meeting was given by adopting an annual schedule of the location, time, and date, sending copies to the Scotch Plains, Fanwood Times, the Star Ledger, and the Courier News, posting in the municipal building, and filing a copy with the township clerk within 7 days following the annual organizational meeting of this body. If everyone would please rise for the pledge to the flag and remain standing for invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear God, we gather together here today, intent on doing good work. We seek to represent fairly and well those who have given us this task. May our efforts be blessed with insight, guided by understanding and wisdom. We seek to serve with respect for all. May our personal faiths give us strength to act honestly and well in all matters before us. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Ms. Lucina, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Checchio?
Here.
Mr. Del Sordi?
Here.
Mrs. Giovanella?
Here.
Mr. Jones?
Here.
Mayor Glover?
Here. We're going to have a little change of within our program today. We have a lot of guests with us, and we're going to move public comment to come behind presentations of recognition. So with that, we have a couple of young folks who I think are going to make a presentation to us, Deputy Mayor.
Mayor, if you don't mind, I would like to introduce two students of an esteemed school located right here in Scotch Plains.
What school might that be?
That would be the Academy for Information Technology. I have with
It's in Scotch Plains.
It is in Scotch Plains. And Monish Sabanhi is a Scotch Plains resident who approached me coincidentally about, I don't know, 6 months ago, forming an environmental club on the UC Tech campus. And so when he made the mistake of mentioning that he lives in Scotch Plains, I figured we could rope him in for kind of the greater good. And Stephen Cropper is a neighbor of ours from New Providence, but comes down the mountain tonight because the two of these gentlemen worked together to write a really wonderful resolution to present to the New Providence Council in Stevenstown. We have forwarded that to a councilman there, and to us to ask us to adopt this resolution in recognition of Earth Day. But Stephen has also really committed to continuing to help us, although he's a New Providence resident. He wants to work with Monish in any way that they can to help us continue our environmental efforts in Scotch Plains. So they should really be commended. Again, here's something that I absolutely cannot take a minute of credit for. These two gentlemen wrote this resolution completely on their own. I'm going to read it now, and then I don't know if you want to move it for adoption now or later.
Yes, we can do that.
Mayor, I'd like to move resolution number 15-074, and for purposes of recognition of Earth Day, I would like to read the resolution in its entirety. Whereas the Township of Scotch Plains and its residents acknowledge the importance of preserving the environment through employing eco-friendly practices such as recycling, buying locally grown produce, consuming fewer resources, choosing travel methods with minimal environmental impact, exhibiting wise commercial judgment, and engaging in activism. And whereas the township encourages citizens to use the volunteer recycling center provided by the Famwood Scotch Plains Recycling Association and to take advantage of programs provided for the community, such as the e-waste recycling program that is held at the Union County Vocational Technical Schools. Recycling is a great way to reuse raw materials and minimize landfills. Whereas citizens of the township can benefit from buying fresh and organic produce from places like the Farmers Market, which is open every Saturday during the summer outside of Township Hall. Food is grown in our citizens' backyard and available for purchase. Buying locally grown food supports farmers, cuts transportation costs, and fertilizes local soil. The township implores citizens to minimize resource consumption in an effort to save water and energy. Citizens can make simple gestures such as taking cold showers, unplugging dormant electrical devices, purchasing Energy Star rated appliances, using fans instead of climate control, and insulating homes to minimize temperature fluctuation. And whereas residents are highly encouraged to use transportation methods with small carbon footprint, such as hybrid vehicles, friendly carpools, and mass transit. Many New Jersey Transit buses are available in the township that travel throughout Union County. In addition, the Famwood train station is a streamlined way to travel the county and commute to work. Whereas, displaying acumen when making purchases can help both the environment and the economy by replacing disposable items with enduring solutions. Examples given include metal water bottles and fabric shopping bags. Citizens can waste less and save natural resources and money. Donating used items as opposed to throwing them out or even repurposing them for do-it-yourself projects can also reduce waste. And whereas the residents of the township can fulfill their responsibility as citizens by engaging in activism. This includes, but is not limited to, writing letters to government officials, participating in campaigns and rallies for the environment, as well as joining and donating to environmental organizations. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and township council endorse the above actions in order to preserve the ecosystem in and around township of Scotch Plains. Excellent job, guys, really.
We meet again. We meet again. Well, thank you for being with us tonight. Thank you for working on this resolution along with that. What you do makes our community, our earth, that much better place to live in. So we're honored that you're here. We hope that you will keep up this good work on behalf of not only the citizens of Scotch Plains, the citizens of Union County, the citizens of the great state of New Jersey as well. So thank you for making this happen, and thank you both for coming. Would you like to say anything? You can say, hi, Mom. You know? Come on, show Mom and Dad. We'd love to hear that.
Well, as you heard, my name is Monish Sabani.
Yeah, and I'm Stephen. And, we just really wanted to take this opportunity to help everyone, conserve their environment. And, even the little things can really help a lot because, it's all really connected, and the ecosystem, everything really falls into place when everyone makes just small gestures, like minimizing resource consumption, or many of the things that are detailed in that resolution.
Right, and with Earth Day coming tomorrow, actually, it's a very appropriate time to help recognize the ways that we can contribute to sustaining our local community and our environment in general.
Yeah, so thank you for the opportunity, and I hope that maybe this will help everyone recognize the importance of conserving their environment.
Well, thank you again for being with us. And we'll certainly send it off, with one of our resolutions. But just a moment, if something to take home, we'll issue another one. And I can tell you that my sons live in California, and right now, water is a real problem. So what you speak to, what you're connecting with, is something that if we don't address it, we will all suffer the consequences. And so, again, keep up the good work. Bring it to us, old folks' attention, and motivate the youth of this nation to recognize that it's their planet too. Thank you again.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, Mayor. They each have about 4 hours worth of homework tonight, so they're going to be
You
leaving
didn't
us
cut up
right
any
now.
slack. What?
Never.
It's tough in this town, right? So guys, get out of here and catch up. That's really good. We have, the next items up on the agenda are 2 administrations of oaths. And this is really a special night for us to recognize 2 of our, or one gentleman who represents our bravest, and one who represents our finest. So I would like the oaths to be administered to these outstanding gentlemen, and we thank them for their service to our community. They make our community safer. They make it better. Words cannot express the gratitude that comes from this entire council and from all of you, 23,500 citizens, for keeping us safe. And with that, let us begin with administering the oath.
Mayor, I believe that I have the honor this evening to administer the oaths of office for the fire department,
Yes,
if I may.
absolutely.
Thank you. Chief, before we begin, do you want to say a couple words?
Sure. Everybody knows that the fire service is a service of tradition. Hopefully, we're starting a new tradition now. We haven't sworn in our officers before. The qualifications for officers were written by the firefighters themselves, and they're very stringent. They included an interview with myself, the manager, and another officer that I selected, and they all passed. So tonight we have 2 captains, a battalion chief and a deputy chief. We have 1 captain who is not receiving the oath tonight because he has 1 more year on his term. So hopefully next year we'll get him in and swear him in. But he is a big part, even though he's not being sworn in tonight. And that's Joe Rodriguez. And you'll hear his name a few times tonight. So.
Before we begin, I was wondering if we could have all of the members of the volunteer fire department that are here this evening just stand up and be recognized. I was also hoping that their families would stand up as well, because it's them who on Easter afternoon are left alone at the dinner table or in the middle of the night are left alone when their family members leave the house to respond to the call. So would the members of our volunteer families please stand? I wanted to say as little as possible before swearing everybody in. As far as the fire department, I'll speak to the fire department separately and then to our fabulous police department in a moment. But I just do want to say that being fire liaison is perhaps the proudest role that I have on this council. I have not had until this year a real opportunity to work with you guys and be able to really support the initiatives. I am very excited to see a growing diversity in our department with the addition of some fabulous ladies and hopefully some more so in the future. And just incredible commitment. Knowing what you do, why you do it, and how you do it just amazes me every day. And I hope when we pass this budget later on this evening, we'll be able to continue, we'll be able to finally get you some much needed resources. So thank you. With all that said, I would like to first call up Ed Frame. Ed, can you please come up with your family members? Oh, I'm sorry. Ed, do you mind if I hold the Bible for you? It would be my honor. Okay, so right hand to the Bible, left hand up, and you're going to repeat after me. Okay. I,
Edward Frame.
Edward Frame. Sorry. No, that's perfect. You know your name. I made you Italian before, though. I was going to call you Frame. Do solemnly swear.
I solemnly swear
Or affirm.
or affirm
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
And the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
And that I will bear true faith and allegiance.
I will bear
true faith
true faith and allegiance
to the same and to the governments established in the United States
to the same and the establishment of the United States
and in this state
and this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform all of the duties
justly perform all of the duties
of Captain of the Scotch Plains Fire Department
as Captain of the Scotch Plains Fire Department
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
According to the best of my abilities, so help me God.
Congratulations, Captain. Thank you very much. Okay, okay, so we have next.
Yep. Can I take a joke?
Okay,
Well, we're happy about that.
okay. So, Daniel Biglin. Did I say it wrong?
No, that's correct.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so you have your own
We
Bible.
brought our own family Bible.
Do you know the right hands?
Yeah, but that was an awful lot.
I know.
I'm a simple fireman.
Well, you know what? I'm a simple teacher at heart. Okay. So, I,
I,
Daniel Biglin,
Daniel Biglin,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same,
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially, and justly perform all the duties of
impartially, and justly perform the duties of
Captain of the Scotch Plains Fire Department
Captain of the Scotch Plains Fire Department
according to the best of my abilities, so help me God.
according to the best of my abilities, so help me God.
Congratulations, Captain. I'm so sorry, I got the wrong hand.
We did it again.
That's all right. You did
I did it right.
Yes, you
Right,
did.
so,
Just remember, everything is reversed on television.
okay, all right, I got this. Okay. Maybe the third time. All right.
Everything comes in threes.
Okay. Okay. She did it again? Okay. So now I'm going to ask Rutland Paul to come forward, also known as Skip. I know, I'm saying, who's Rutland?
Wow.
How are you?
Talking about having your hands full.
Can you hold it? Okay, can you hold it up high?
That's the gentleman.
Okay, okay, perfect, excellent. So please raise your right hand, okay? Okay. I, Rutland Paul Jr.,
Rutland Paul Jr.,
Skip,
do
solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established in the United States and in this state
and to the governments established in the United States and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all of the duties of
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all of the duties of
Battalion Chief from the Scotch Plains Fire Department
Battalion Chief of the Scotch Plains Fire Department
according to the best of my abilities, so help me God.
according to the best of my abilities, so help me God.
Congratulations. Let me help you. I got this. Can I hold her? Is that okay? I won't steal her. A little.
Well, I think a diaper change is appropriate about that, right? I told you, diaper change, Deputy Mayor.
I know, it feels great. Okay, there you go.
You're like, and I can pass it.
Yes. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Obviously, I couldn't do it right without you. Okay.
Put 'em.
Okay. And finally, I worked up to this. I think I can handle this now. I would like to call our new deputy chief, our deputy fire chief for John Lasarchik, up to the front, and his wonderful family. I'm sure his wife Allison will be coming up with their 2 fabulous children. You guys come here. Okay, you're good? Okay. Yeah, we need Allison pictures. Okay. Raise your right hands. Okay, good. No, good, we're good. Okay. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and in this state,
governments established in the United States and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all of the duties of Deputy Fire Chief, Scotch Plains Fire Department.
perform all of the duties
Deputy Fire Chief. It's the easy part.
and justice, perform all the duties of Deputy Fire Chief of the Scotch Plains Fire Department,
According to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Chief, thank you so much.
Yes. Still working on it.
You got it right every time. It's fun, right? I married you. And they when they let me go with that.
So,
Okay, next up, right?
congratulations again, everyone. Thank you very much, Chief, for including me in
All your
that.
families as well.
I'll get it
Well-
right next time.
Chief, you're up, and I think, Mr. Renan, you going to do the honors here and swearing in our new captain? Is that what we plan on doing? Legally? Do we have to?
Chief, I'm sure that you planned for who would do this tonight.
We can wing it.
I know how you plan everything.
We just want to make sure.
It's your chamber. It's your chamber. As long as he doesn't mess it up, because, we're being sworn, it doesn't count if you mess it up.
We have an oath right up there.
That's,
We're going to make it official.
That'll
But
be
I know
fine.
the chief will have much to say.
Usually.
Kind words.
Captain
I
Conway.
tried to break the new, it's a nice new microphone, too.
You like that? It works,
We
too.
must be doing good. We got a new manager, we're spending some money. Good evening. Police officers from the department are here, family, friends, community members that are here for the meeting. Typically, when I come to the council meetings, I like to thank the mayor and council for having me here and tell them how much I appreciate being here. Tonight, I actually mean it. This is a special night for the police department. We're going to recognize an individual that's had a very good career here in Scotch Plains. He served our department well. He served the people well. We're going to make a promotion to captain tonight to Theodore Conley. So he's going to join me at the microphone. I'll tell you a little bit about Ted. Ted, I said already, has done a terrific job for us over the years. He is a 1987 graduate of Cranford High School. We don't hold that against him. We didn't when we hired him, because at least he wasn't from Westfield. Ted was a good student in high school. He was a member of the wrestling team when he was in high school, and it was some years later that I actually found out that Ted's claim to fame on the wrestling team was when they wrestled Scotch Plains, his job was not to get pinned by my brother-in-law.
Yeah. I did.
So,
I did.
I'm not sure. We'll check. I'll check with Eddie on that one. But Ted went on from there to Montclair State University. He graduated with a degree in psychology in 1992. I actually found that in his file today when I was looking for some notes to talk about. That's why he looks at me so funny whenever I talk to him. Those psychology majors. But he went on from Montclair State to Union County College, furthered his education, got another degree, an associate's degree in criminal justice, and sought out a career in law enforcement. We're glad he did, because back in 1998, in January, he was hired by our department, graduated the John H. Stamler Police Academy, which is right here in Scotch Plains. Ted went on, had a good career in patrol, did a lot of good work for us. In 2006, he was promoted to sergeant in the police department. Shortly after his promotion to sergeant, a year or so after that, I moved Ted into a support services role and an administrative role where he's pretty much been ever since until his promotion to captain. In that role, I just want people to understand that support services, as much as the frontline police officers are important to us out on the street to protect the public and help people, we need people in administration and support services to get us the resources that our guys who are here tonight need to be successful and to be safe and to be efficient out in the street. Ted did a lot of hard work in that position. He got us, Mrs. Perkins, you listen, hundreds of thousands of dollars in grant monies while he was serving in that support services role. He's been involved with our technology needs. As a matter of fact, he's so good at technology that I needed him to drive me somewhere once, and he put the GPS on, and we ended up in a cornfield. When it said we've arrived at our destination. Now what? But being the quick thinker that he is, he got us to our destination after that. So that role in support services led to a promotion in February of 2012 to lieutenant. He continued to serve admirably in that role. He's done a lot with our policies and procedures. We're well on the way to becoming a state-accredited police department, which is something that not a lot of departments get. So he's done a lot in that role. Back in November of last year, Ted received a provisional appointment to the rank of captain, which basically meant, and I think anybody who was at that meeting or watched it, he needed to fulfill some extra requirements. He successfully completed those requirements, so we're here tonight to swear him in permanently as a captain in the Scotch Plains Police Department. Ted?
Okay, you're gonna hold it? You wanna hold it back? Who wants to do the hard job? Oh, she's ready. Okay. I'm gonna put you right over here, and you're gonna hold it this way. So the two hands, that can put his left hand on it. I ask you to raise your right hand. I ask you to please repeat after me. I, Theodore Conley.
I, Theodore Conley.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
And the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the government established in the United States
and in this state, under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of Captain, Scotch Plains Police Department,
of Captain of the Scotch Plains Police Department,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
So help me God.
I just take this last opportunity to sincerely thank the manager and thank you, council, for actually having us here tonight. I do mean it. This is a very important step in moving our department forward well into the future. Ted Conley has all the characteristics, all the attributes of a true leader in law enforcement, and I'm confident that through his trust and loyalty, not only to me, but to the mission and to the men and women of the police department, that he's the man that will carry the department well into the future. So thank you for having us here today.
All right, I'll keep this brief. I know it's getting hot in here. First, I just really want to say... No, you guys... then it's really going to get hot, right? Chief Mahoney, I just want to say thank you. I know it's been a long, strange trip over these 17 years, but the fact that you have the trust and the confidence to nominate me for this position, I really do appreciate that. You know that I understand your vision for this police department, I'm going to do everything I can to keep us moving in the right direction. I think we're doing pretty good right now, and we could always do a little better when we learn from our mistakes. And I want to thank Mr. Mirabella, our new township manager. Thank you for taking the chief's recommendation and going with it. I know you're new to the family and we're new to knowing each other, but it means a lot. And I must tell you that the people in this town are wonderful. So you have no worries with me. They have the most confidence. I have the most confidence in them, and I'll do everything I can to help these people in this town. So thank you. Thank you, Mayor and Council. Thank you very much. My family that are here, my dad's in the middle, Dave Conley, my Uncle Rick, and who can miss this one? My brother Maddie. Yeah, she will stand, absolutely she will. My brother Pat, my sister Susie, and last but not least, Billy, I won't forget this time, I promise. My wife Sharon, my son Jack, and who can miss Kira? This one's going to be in the movie somewhere.
Thank you very much. One more round of applause for our finest and our bravest.
Captain, I want to congratulate you on your appointment tonight, but I also want to congratulate you on having the best and most professional police officers, your entire rank and file behind you, and I know that you will move the department in great directions, but I also did want to say, and I had hoped to have an opportunity to have them stand as well, to get the applause that they deserve as well. Your officers, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days of the year. Some of you know me, some of you don't. Those of you who do know me know that beyond anything else, I am a cop's wife. It's not always the position I'm in up here, but there is nobody more grateful for the work that you do to keep all of us safe. I appreciate your being here tonight. I appreciate everything you do for this township, and I appreciate the support that you'll give Captain Connolly in making sure that we continue to be a great success and to serve our residents well. Thank you, Chief, so much.
Thank you.
Okay, we ready? I was going to say, Colleen, I agree. You know how to clean a room out. All right, folks. Now we'll pick up where we last left off. The next item on our agenda is public comment. Anybody wishing to address this council, please come forward, state your name and address. Thank you. Go ahead, please.
Frank, I'm sorry, just 1 second. I'd just like to remind everyone that we have a 3-minute time limit. If you would please use your entire 3 minutes to address the dais, and then if there's any response, it'll be done after the 3 minutes. If you are here to comment on any of our cap bank ordinance or on the budget, there'll be a separate public hearing on that. So if you please reserve your comments for that portion. Yes, the first public session is on agenda items only.
Carolyn Perkins, 861 Westfield Road, Scotch Plains. I want to say it's been a pleasure to be here today to see these people being recognized for their service. That's a very positive thing. The young men who presented that resolution for recycling, we still do not do enough in this town, and I've said it again and again, and I've hit my head against a brick wall. We should have more containers for recycling, and we just don't do it. When we have our events on the green, it all goes into the garbage. We're passing the budget, but I have a question. The state health insurance was not moved on, and it's not going to be moved on until July 1st. So we have actually lost 6 months of paying private dollars, because we would have saved $450,000 this year if we would have gone with the state health. Number 2, in the resolution 2015-094, the Doyle Alliance Group, it's some kind of a health, and I do not understand that. It's not going to exceed $24,000. Could you explain that in detail when we get to that resolution? In the paper, you're looking for World War II vets. World War II vets are very old, quite elderly. I would suggest that you ask your tax assessor, who gives each veteran a reduction in their taxes, because I know a number of them. One is 92, one is 87. I will approach those 2 men, but they need to be approached by you. They are not going to come to you. They're too old. They don't drive, they would need transportation. And lastly, all I can say is we took monies from our reserve to help with this budget. I'm hoping we're not going to deplete our reserve, so we have very little when we really need it. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
Mayor, you want responses to that?
Please.
Frank Festa, Ramapo Way. I'm going to speak about Resolution 2015-083. Apparently, there is some money that is going to be used for Terry Lou Zoo. It amounts to $91,289. And on the 8th of April, I put in an Oprah request for the amount of grant money that was going to be earmarked for Terry Lou Zoo. And what I received was a blank resolution of deed restriction. That was the answer. I understand that it's, the grant should be 75% of 91,000. It all could have been answered by a handwritten note. So this came from Mr. Porio. He's either passing along a joke or he doesn't understand money. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for coming out, and you'll get back to Mr. Porio and then answer that question.
Yeah, I can help answer it a little bit right now.
I'd like to.
Mr. Festa, that's was some question of whether the township accepted grant dollars. Would there be any tie or encumber the town to have keep that space open forever? And through our attorney, we determined that there was Green Acres dollars accepted, that the land will be open space, and then we could move forward with the accepting of the grant to offset the cost for remediation. And that's really what that first part of the project is.
Well, my interpretation, may I, Mayor?
Please.
Thank you.
No,
My interpretation of Green Acres funds is if you could give like-kind real estate, and then you could use that property again, if they will accept it. You don't have to accept it. That's my interpretation. I'm not an attorney, and I see the attorney turn around and look at me. So perhaps I'm saying something that's not correct.
I'll try to answer it. It's very, once you encumber lands in one of two ways. One, we also have an open space trust fund, which also factors into the equation. But whether it comes under the open space trust fund or under Green Acres, anytime that you attempt to divert land which has been dedicated to open space to some other purpose, you have to go through a complicated procedure. It's not just a matter of filling out some forms or submitting an application. It's a complicated procedure. In Green Acres, you have to go to the State House Commission. As I said, there's a very long and tortuous process, and the same type of process applies, and you still have to go to DEP if you're going to try to sell, for example, money that's been purchased using open space trust funds. So it's impractical, first of all, unless you can show some compelling reason. You don't just say, I want to sell this open space and we're going to put some other land in. And then secondly, on the open space trust fund lands, you have to not only replace the land, but pay over the money. With Green Acres, you generally have to replace the land that's being diverted by land which is either twice as much space or twice as much in terms of value. I mean, it's simply not practical. Having done it, I mean, I've done it a couple of times where, for example, I did it in a municipality in connection with a flood control project. They consider even running a pipe underground, for example, through parkland as a diversion. And that was a compelling reason for a flood control project that was remediating acres and acres of land and dozens of houses. And that's the kind of reason that you need to go to DEP or to the State House Commission to get a diversion. I tell you, without going through the whole process, that the idea that you might sell it for some other use, for a development or whatever, is simply not practical. It just isn't.
Thank you, Councilor.
Thank you.
I'd like to say one more thing about the Terry Lou property, just to remind everyone that that property was taken by eminent domain by the Township Council of Township of Scotch Plains.
Thank you for coming out again today.
Thanks,
Mr. Fester. Okay, seeing no one else, we're going to move on from the public comment section. And next up, we have public and final adoptions. Ms. Lucina, can you read this first ordinance by title, please?
Ordinance number 2015-5, an ordinance to exceed the municipal budget cost of living allowance and to establish a cap bank for calendar year 2015 when the COLA is equal to or less than 2.50%.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor?
Mayor, I'd move that the public hearing on this ordinance be opened.
Is there a second?
Second.
Do we have a vote on this?
All those in favor?
What's that?
Public hearing.
Oh, I'm sorry, I apologize. Would anybody like to address the council on this matter?
Ms. Lucina, I believe the mayor was asking for a vote on opening
on the
the
roll call.
public.
I'm looking at my notes here, and I have on my little cheat sheet a vote on the roll call, and then would anyone like to address the council with reference?
Okay.
Am I right? Or, well, it doesn't matter. What, would it, can we have a vote?
You could just do all.
I was going to say, all those in favor?
Aye.
Next up, would anyone like to address the council with reference to this ordinance? Seeing no one come forward, is there anybody on the council that would like to have a comment? Hearing no one. Deputy Mayor,
Mayor, I move that the public hearing on this ordinance be closed.
is there a second?
Second.
Deputy Mayor,
Mayor, I move that this ordinance be adopted on second and final reading and be advertised according to law.
thank you. May we have a roll call now? Do we have it seconded?
Not yet.
Second.
Mrs. Checchio?
Aye.
Mr. Del Sorte?
Aye.
Mrs. Giovanella?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mayor Glover?
Aye. May I have a motion on resolution 2015-080?
Mayor, I'd like to move Resolution 2015-080, resolution authorizing the self-examination of the 2015 budget.
Is there a second?
Second.
May I turn to either the manager or to yourself, Ms. Esky, for an explanation?
Every two years, the state will allow to meet certain criteria.
Have the microphone so we don't get yelled at.
Every 2 years, the state will allow towns that meet certain criteria to allow for a self-exam of their budget, which means the state does not go through it and check it. And this is the second of our 2 years that we're allowed to do that, meeting the criteria.
Thank you very much. It says we are in pretty good fiscal condition, if I'm not mistaken. We have our auditor with us tonight, so that's very encouraging and well done that we're able to do that. Many towns are not, as we both know. Well, with that, we've had a motion, we've had a seconded, we've had an explanation. Can we have a vote?
Mrs. Checchio?
Aye.
Mr. Del Sorte?
Aye.
Mrs. Giovanella?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mayor Glover?
Aye. Next item on our agenda is the certification of our approved budget. And with that, I'm going to turn this portion of the meeting over to our manager, Mr. Al Mirabella. I think you have some presentation you want to share with us.
I do, Mayor. Yes, thank you. And I'm going to ask Councilman Jones and Councilwoman Checchio if you can either turn around, because that's going to be my spotlight. You ready? I'll take a seat. I'm going to get a drum roll on this, right? All right. All right.
Oh, you know what? Let me move the microphone. Oh.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, you don't want to miss a word of this.
We're still, oh, Mr. Renard's microphone, I think. No, it's yours, okay.
Yeah. All right, I think we're okay with that. I wanted to start and go through these slides that I have prepared for the mayor, for the council, for the public assembled to talk through the budget presentation, and we'll have our public hearing. I do want to thank and recognize two people that are here to assist and add contributions if there's questions, and that's our CFO, Lori Majeski, and Warren from Suppley Clooney, our auditor. And thanks both of you for taking the time, not only tonight to be here during this budget adoption, but throughout the process, beginning early in January and leading up to this point, through the first reading, through adoption. We had several goals that were outlined by the mayor and council that I adhered to when I undertook the initial budget review and beginning to put the budget together. And they're outlined right here. Provide efficient, essential municipal services, ensure public safety, improve communication with the public, This seemed to be something that was at the very top of our list, and I think if some people notice we're starting to move a little bit in that direction with some of the communications around the storms we had and the cleanup, there's more help on the way, and I'll get to some of that from a strategy standpoint when we get a little bit further in the presentation. But that's paramount, it's communication with the public. Protect and preserve our history is also a priority and a goal of this budget, as well as develop the business district strategy for improvement. Improve recreational opportunities, and I just made a sub-note, doing this through no increase to recreational fees from last year to this year as well. It's flat fee management. Increase senior programming, and then all of this, trying to accomplish all of this and achieve a zero municipal budget or a flat budget. The budget process started, I think probably a little bit even before I got here, with some kind of analysis and review and pulling together some information from the department heads, but it certainly started in earnest about the second day on the job for me. And that was to sit with our CFO, with Lori, to go through the preliminary budget numbers. We had several days of going through, understanding where we've been and where I wanted to take this budget, and working with this mayor and council to have it approved. We had individual department head meetings with the leadership team in the township. We discussed their operating and their capital requests. So they came to me to discuss exactly what their thought process was and where they wanted to be from a budget standpoint. I reviewed that and working together, taking the direction, the goals, and where we wanted to take this budget, and asked them all to go back and you know, there's the cliche, sharpen the pencil, make some budgetary cuts. They all were in a position to do that and came back and presented me with updated budget numbers from an operating standpoint. At that point, we conducted 2 public workshop sessions with the mayor and council, incorporated feedback from the public, all at the same time, posting that information online and invited public comment. And initially, there was some discussion of whether the draft budget should be posted. It in the end, seemed like the right decision, and I'm happy that it was out there for the public to be able to look at. After the initial vote on introduction and the passage of that, the budget was then put online, the updated budget online for public review. We introduced that budget on 3/17, and we are in the process of going through this process tonight to pass in our final adoption on April 21st. One of the things I wanted to add to this process was, you know, a lot of people think previous administrators in different parts of the county and the state maybe feel like the budget process is completed tonight when the budget is passed. I don't look at it that way. I look at it as a year-round budget review and analysis. I talk with the CFO at least once a day, likely twice, 3 times a day, on different opportunities to save money, different grants that are becoming available, and working with all the department heads and the leadership team here in the township. We are going to have a year-round budget analysis to not only stick to the budget that is adopted and adhere to that, but also put us in a position for the best possible result for next year's budget, providing services at a cost-effective manner. That's the goal in this entire budget. Here's the numbers, just a quick breakout of the numbers. The one that I put on the top, and that was part of the goals going into this budget process, was that we have in Scotch Plains a flat tax rate. And I know that was a goal, and I know hearing from council members and this mayor that that was a priority, to establish a flat tax rate, no increase to the municipal budget, and this budget accomplishes that. So I'm really delighted to be able to be in a position to present this to you, Mayor, and the rest of council, and to the public, to let them know that from a Scotch Plains standpoint, there's no impact from a tax, from their property taxes. Can't really speak for the Board of Ed, which is another component. Theirs, it looks like, is going up a little bit. The county is also going up, but not at a tremendous rate. But your overall tax budget, tax bill, when you get it, is made up of those three components. The municipal portion is staying flat. The amount to be raised by taxes is there, $14,696,622. The library appropriation is at $1.3 million. I've had a great working relationship with the new director of the library. I wish Michelle a lot of luck. I know she's getting her arms around, and maybe being two kind of administrators in town, we have gravitated together and help each other. And she's doing a terrific job. Has been doing a terrific job, but now taking the leadership in the library is going to take that library to great places. Initially, we were concerned that the state aid from the state of New Jersey was going to be cut. Thankfully, it was not cut. It remained flat at $2.2 million, so we're happy with that number. Surplus used is $2,970,000, which is about $200,000 more than last year's appropriation. So I know that was a question before from one of the members of the public. That is what was used. From last year, it's just $200,000 more, but it was actually $200,000 more was generated from 2013 to 2014. So we're just using what extra money was developed as a surplus. There's miscellaneous revenue of about $5 billion. For the total Scotch Plains municipal budget, $24,576,946.36. Okay, that's the numbers. The initiatives for 2015 is set by the mayor and council, and with my input and what I think is in the right direction we're taking this township. I mentioned it before, improved communication. That includes the online presence or our website. There's some discussion going on right now to take a look at the website. So many people rely on the web for information, and I think we can be in a position to provide even better service there and provide a better website. We're going to be looking into opportunities to do that. Social media is something that I think we've been slow to adapt to, although there's some Facebook work, and there could be some Twitter and some other kind of social media that's very attractive from a communication standpoint for particularly our young people, but people even up to my age and older are into social media and understanding how to get information. It's all about giving information and getting information. Some people like to get it by looking at a website. Some people like to get it on social media. Some people like to look at it on TV, which leads to our next area is both on TV 34 and TV 22. Look for opportunities to upgrade our equipment in that area. We have some grant dollars coming in to offset some expenditures, but I really think there's an opportunity to upgrade our TV service and provide another improved communication vehicle for our residents. The radio station, I think, is taking off. This came about through largely to Mayor Glover's efforts in the aftermath of the Hurricane Sandy, when there wasn't much of any communication. This looked like a good way to communicate for people that didn't have any power. Transistor radios still were broadcasting, and there was an opportunity to distribute information. The mayor's asked me, along with our partnership with Fanwood, to put up some signs around the community to let people know and raise some awareness of that radio station, that in the event that there's an emergency, there's information there that can be helpful to our residents. Alerts is another thing that the police department largely handles and directs from an emergency standpoint. Sergeant Hernandez is really on top of that, and it was really helpful, I think, to this township with the storms and some of the activity in the winter to have those alerts updated. And as our website matures and are going a different direction there, it'll all tie in together from an alert standpoint. So I'm really excited about the opportunities we have to improve communication in this township. Taking that another step down a little bit to the upgrade to township technology infrastructure and support, something else we're going to talk about in this not part of the municipal budget, but the capital budget, is going to be some investments in infrastructure and support. I think we have opportunities in this town to upgrade our support from a technology standpoint, and also some of our infrastructure is aging. The hardware is quite frankly getting old and outdated. We need to be on top of that from a refreshing of equipment and moving ahead with that. So we're going to be looking at how we handle support and how we upgrade our technology, servers, laptops, desktops. We're going to take this township down the road into the next century. We are going to be aggressively looking at the number of grant opportunities. In the manager's report later, I will give you an update on some grants that are moving ahead. I want to thank the Deputy Mayor for her leadership on the trail grant that is working through the Environmental Commission that is working there. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's 4 Union County grants that are coming out that will be helpful for us. There's a DOT grant, and now I'm giving some of the manager's report, but I'll highlight that in a little bit more detail later. But that seems to be an area where we could do better, and we could seek out grant dollars that will help offset expenditures in the future. And that's what we're going to do here. We need to also invest not only in our technology infrastructure, but our township infrastructure. There are roofs that need replacing. There are equipment that needs to be upgraded. And I think there's been some strategy at some point to let somebody else worry about it. Well, I think we have to worry about it. And I think we have to start doing some of those things from an infrastructure standpoint in our township to move forward. There's always a focus. I think this is probably, at least it should be, a point on every slide that talks about budgets and initiatives for townships. Improve the public safety equipment and look for ways to upgrade. And I think you'll see, mostly as it's handled not only in this municipal budget, but certainly in the capital budget, investments in fire and police that will help us protect our residents moving forward. One of the areas, I got this, I want to use this pointer, so indulge me just a little bit. Preserve our history. I think it's something that, we have a rich tradition in Scotch Plains and should be really proud of some of the historical buildings, and I think we need to care for them. And that's the priority that this mayor's given, that this council's endorsed, to really do a better job looking after our history. And I can speak to Shady Rest. The condition that we found that was poor. And I know the roof is going on, Mayor, I think Thursday starting. So let the township know and the mayor and council know. It looks like that work is beginning. There's investments in our historical, contained in our capital budget, that will complete some more of the work at Shady Rest, but also Cannonball House and Resolve House right outside of the doors here. And I think we have real opportunity to do it now and preserve our history for generations looking forward. One of the items that's not on there, but I can tell you that the Frazee House has been certainly a topic of conversation, and I thank Councilman Del Sordi for his leadership in that area and the work he's done working with some of the folks at Rotary to meet and talk about a plan for that area. They have some very aggressive goals for fundraising, and the councilman's expertise in his day job, I think, will be really helpful for that effort. So thank you, Councilman, and I think Frazee House will start getting some traction in that area. Two of the things we talked about them actually from a park improvement standpoint. Director Porio was here last meeting at our conference session to talk about the Terry Lou Zoo property in Brookside Park. Two real jewels of our park system and two areas of need of remediation, not only on the Terry Lou Zoo property and some work that's going to be done for an environmental cleanup standpoint, but also on Brookside Park, where there's a lot of interest, and that's a beautiful park. I mentioned, the deputy mayor's initiative and some of the grant we're looking for the trail there, but there's a terrific pond that needs some, and a brook that runs through there that we really need to upgrade. And I think the priorities of this township and the initiatives here are very appropriate for this area. I want to make an initiative, recognize and celebrate our volunteers. We need to reach out more to volunteers, embrace them, have them, work with us and help us as we start working through these initiatives, working through this budget. And we're thankful for the volunteers we have, not only senior volunteers, recreation volunteers, cultural arts volunteers. There's more, and there's a lot of space for people to help, and I hope people will be encouraged to do that. The capital budget, giving a little snapshot, and this is a high level. You all have some documentation on this. Road improvements, I think, is one of the things that's in every year capital budget. And before I go too far down the list on this, I wanted to make just a quick comment on the capital budget. I mean, anybody paying attention to Scotch Plains knows there was no capital budget last year. So this year there will be I don't know if a larger capital budget. It's certainly the priorities that I see are focused in this area. This is what the department, the leadership in this township has recommended and what I've put forth after my review for the mayor and council. But it's higher than it's been the last couple of years. All of this is items that are necessary, and the fact that we skipped last year, I think, will speak to that a little bit. We'll have more opportunity to discuss that later. Road improvements, there's a real need, particularly after the storm. The engineer has prioritized the street and given us a list. Many people may be watching this or in this room, certainly the mayor and council will remember the real, I don't know if it was a presentation, but the awareness that the Bird Avenue residents made for us during the storm and the problems there. I went to visit that area on several occasions, not only when it was iced over, but certainly after that. And that road is in need of rehabilitation. The only caveat in that area is that there's a significant work by Elizabethtown Gas that's going to be going through the 40% of the northern part of Scotch Plains, and we don't want to necessarily rip up the street, recondition the street, only to have the gas company do the same thing a year later. So we're going to get right behind them. But one of the things I thought was important, and I talked to our engineering department, is at least get some of the survey work teed up. And that doesn't have to wait. So we know it needs to be done in that area. We know what's going to be going on. And that's something that I think we can start the ball rolling, and it's part of this capital plan for the township, is to get that survey and get those documents prepared so that when the gas company does their main line replacement, we'll be able to shortly follow after that, because the road is in desperate need of repair. I'm going to go through this stuff pretty quickly. The Public Works has vehicles and equipment. The acting director there has prioritized the budget from a capital standpoint for Public Works, and I've agreed with his what he's proposed for this mayor and council to consider. I worked with, as I mentioned before, the library director, and really the only significant issue they have from a capital standpoint is the new heating and ventilation system for an air conditioning for the library. Anybody that's gone to the library knows that if you walk in one corner it can be freezing, and you walk into another corner you could be burning hot. So they really need to do, have an upgrade, and they're going to be working towards that. I mentioned before, it's part of our initiatives and the goals, and it all kind of ties together, is technology upgrades. One of the things I heard, loud and clear, not only from people around town, but certainly from the direction I've received from this mayor and council, is that we need to do a good job of beautifying our downtown. And I know Councilwoman Checchio is really working hard with some initiatives she's working on to come to this town with a plan and to help beautify our downtown, and we're going to put some funds in the capital budget to help that process along. The police department has spoken with me about some vehicles that they need to keep their fleet updated, along with some technology, and that technology really is servers, laptops, desktops, printers, and the like. I'm really happy that we are able to talk about this fire department area. You know, the fire department is in desperate need of a replacement engine. And I think that that's something that we need to encourage, to ensure that our town that our firefighters have the right equipment to fight fires and to protect our town. There is also money in the budget that I've placed in there for equipment and for building improvements like a new roof. It goes back to my infrastructure. Recreational and park improvements, I mentioned before, Brookside Park and the zoo property. There's some vehicles that are necessary from a recreational standpoint, and also there's money in there for a senior citizen bus and a replacement for that. All at the same time then goes back to some of the historical sites that we need to improve and preserve in our town, and that money is also contained in our capital budget. All right, that's a snapshot. I wanted to thank a couple of people that helped along the way putting this whole budget together, and that's the public for their comment and their opinions and thoughts, the mayor and council for their leadership, the township leadership team, the directors and the chiefs and the department heads that have contributed to this budget. I have to single out among those Lori Majeski and her finance team. She's proven to be a tremendous asset to me and well thought of, not only in this building, in this township, but across Union County. You mentioned Lori Majeski's name. They know what you're talking about. They know that the finances are being in good hands, and I appreciate that. Claudette, my admin partner up in the second floor, who helps pull all this stuff together, arranging meetings. I don't want to leave her out. And also our township employees, who a lot of times myself and the mayor and council get a lot of credit for what happens in this town, but it's the employees, I think, that are driving a lot of the positive changes that I'm seeing in this township and where we can take this township. And they deserve a lot of credit and a lot of thanks. So that is what I have. I also want to mention one other council member, and Councilman Jones, who's come in on several mornings, and we like to get together. I don't know where you are, Councilman. We like to get together early in the morning and talk through some things, and he's been very helpful, pointing out some things, answering some questions from his perspective, and kind of giving me some input to help formulate this budget. So I want to thank him and everyone for getting us to this point. So I don't know if that was too long or too short. It's the first one I've done, but I think it was at least give you my thoughts as far as where we are, where we're going, where my priorities are based on what the mayor and council have given me. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bella, for that overview. Next, I'd like to ask if anybody would like to address the governing body regarding this 2015 budget. We'll open it up for presentation.
I think we need to go through the formalities of.
Mrs. Sina?
Have a motion to open up the public meeting here.
Mayor, I'd like to move the public hearing and this ordinance be opened.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Frank Festa, Ramapo Way. Have a flyer from the Recreation Commission. 5-color glossy paper, really nice. I have a flyer from the Township Public Properties Manager. Same thing, information. This isn't in glossy paper, it's only 3-color. If you watch the pennies, the dollars will watch themselves. That's what I always believed when I was in business. We talked about the possibility of a bus, and I thought we were going to get $42,000 from Fanwood, Borough of Fanwood. Did we get any money from the Borough of Fanwood?
We could address
Well,
that.
we've the mayor and I and Councilwoman Checchio actually sit in on shared services conversations with Fanwood, with the Board of Education on a monthly basis, and we did talk at that meeting about some contribution coming back from the from the borough of Fanwood to offset the costs, and we're waiting to see if they've incorporated that into their budget.
If they don't incorporate the money in their budget, will they still be able to use our bus for free?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, they do contribute some money to offset the salary of the driver. In my opinion, I thought that they needed to be in a position to contribute and help offset the cost of the bus, and I guess we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I'd like to see them share the costs. The Township of Scotch Plains is paying the cost, and we're picking up their seniors, and I'd like to be able to continue to provide that service as a shared service, but we're going to probably need them to help us contribute to the cost of it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Al Smith, 1451 Martini Avenue. I am chairman of the Republican Committee. In looking at the budget, by the way, Mr. Marabella, congratulations on completing what looks to be like a sound budget. Hope it holds, let's get it through. And sets it up, as the mayor said, for next year we can get a decrease.
I'll worry about next year.
I have a couple of
Great
questions.
minds think alike, but Mr. Smith.
Hey, I've been waiting for this for years.
Yeah, I've been waiting for this for years.
All right. Significant increase in legal fees. Can you give us an explanation on that? I think they're going up like almost $200,000.
Well, I can tell you from my perspective, when I looked at the condition that the township was in when I got here, and some of the review legally that I thought was necessary, I thought it was important to include additional funding in there for both Township Council and Labor Council. And
do we have something? I mean, I think it was something like $278,000 last year, and this year it's something like $420,000. Are we anticipating some major legal things that haven't come up in the past that aren't just normal?
Can I?
I'm not anticipating anything like that. I mean, I don't know what the future will hold or how many times the township will get sued.
Maybe there's our first tax decrease. Okay, I'd just be interested in that. The other question I have is legal fees. I mean, construction fees. I noticed that last year we collected like $887,000, and this year we've budgeted $600,000. Do we have any idea of what the cost is versus what we're collecting on construction fees? When I go around town and other communities, people are just talking about how fees for inspections and whatever have gone up, and if it's to the point that we've increased fees more than we should have, it would be nice to what I'm saying is, I don't think that should be a profit center. It's sort of like the water fee. I mean, we have to charge people that, but we had a situation here for a while where we were using that as a profit center. I think this is another situation where you may want to look into that.
It's not my impression that our fees are significantly higher or out of balance from other municipalities.
I understand. I'm asking about what the actual cost is. I mean, are we generating $300,000 or $400,000 of revenue beyond?
The fees are established by statute. I think I hope we have a lot of fees, and I hope that for a reason. I hope people are making improvements to their house. I hope there's building going on in our township. So I hope we get a lot of construction fees in the township. I think it's a good thing.
Well, what I'm saying is that fair to the people, though? I mean, now you're not. I mean, you're taking a small population that are improving their home, and you're diverting it to general. I understand we have safety needs, and clearly I'm totally in favor of inspections. What I'm just saying is that when it gets to the point that it's costing you $400 or $500 to have an inspection on something where somebody walks in and out and says, good, it's all right.
I will take a look to see from a comparison standpoint if they're out of balance from the Union County.
Well, again, I'm not just talking about what the state is. I'm talking about, what are we getting versus our expenses.
Okay.
Again, the state benefits plan, I know it was an extra quarter. Do we have any reason why we waited the quarter? Mrs. Perkins brought it up that it's, we've basically probably lost about $100,000 in the quarter.
Yeah, I'd be happy to talk about that.
Sure.
First of all, when I got here, it seemed to me that the process was very rushed at the end of the year to move to the state health benefits. That's from my perspective. I don't know if anybody else felt that, but that's how I felt. I didn't feel like, from two perspectives, that the people that work here, the employees, were faced with a decision in a very rapid fashion about what was best for them and their families from a healthcare standpoint. So I felt that our employees deserved proper education and information about what plan they had and what plan they were going to. The second part of that is we have 2 unions in this town, and both of those unions did not sign off that they would accept the state health benefits plan as part of their contract. So if they didn't sign off on that as good or better, that's part of their contract, then the township could have been liable for making up the difference between what they thought. So I felt it was prudent to delay it 3 months, do the proper information and communication, not only with our employees, but with our unions, and we got both of their sign-offs, and everybody seems pretty happy about it.
Couldn't we have done that in the first couple of months? You know, I mean, this is supposed to go into effect.
I didn't think we could, but...
All right, well, it cost us $100,000, that's, the fire department.
I know where you get that number.
Well, I understood, but, you know, when it was passed by the council, I thought we were saving like $440,000 a year, so I'm just taking a quarter of it. Well, let me ask this question. The fire department, good that we're making improvements. Is that going to help our fire rating at all? Has that been factored into
30
this?
seconds.
You know, I'm not exactly sure, but I think, you know, improved equipment, improved water pressure. I don't know if we can do anything about the proximity of fire houses with remote parts of our township, because that's all contributing to that fire rating. But I would imagine, and I don't know this for sure, so I'll just tell you what my thought is. We can look at it.
Thank you.
That improved equipment helps the fire rating.
Yeah, and the whole purpose is, you know, as our fire rating goes up, our insurance policy costs go
Putting a new
down.
roof on won't, but the new engine.
Yeah, for the public. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We
I
have
I'd
just a
actually
follow-up
did want to
response
follow up.
from-
I didn't want to take any of your time, Mr. Smith, but I did want to just provide some insight, and I would ask that the attorney listen carefully and cut me off wherever you need to. We do have an increase in our attorney fees this year. Quite frankly, as much as I can say here, I will tell you that some very inappropriate actions took place at the end of the last leadership of this community. The residents of this community will not pay the price for those actions. And if we need to fight things legally to make sure that we are doing right by our residents, we will exhaust our resources there before we create precedent that has the potential to bring long-standing actions and implications for this community. So I'll take the hits on legal fees.
More to follow?
because
We'll see
more
what
to
they are.
follow.
Okay, fine, thank you.
I'm Pete Terry, Raw Road. Just a quick question. If we took $3 million from the reserve, how much is left in the reserve? What was it to start with?
There's about 500,000 left.
500,000? Okay, and another quick thing about the Shady Rest, you know, I'm an old guy, and when you get older, time seems to go quicker and quicker. And that roof over there in Shady Rest, it's flying by a month at a time. I know March was bad, one of the worst Marches we ever had for construction, but we're 3 weeks into April, and I guess to be a wise guy, I've heard that song before.
I don't think you're being
Thank
a
you.
wise guy. I don't think you're being a wise guy, but I think we heard from Mr. Marabella that the roof will begin this Thursday. But I will drive by to make sure.
I'll go with you.
And you'll go with me.
Carolyn Perkins, 861 Westfield Road. Mr. Terry, the senior citizens continue to meet at the Baptist Church because the roof is still not fixed. We are going to meet there for 3 more weeks, which is an inconvenience for them to bring all of their stuff that they need to do their meetings. But that being said, we talk about Shady Rest. We passed the resolution that it was going to be called Shady Rest. I hope we put up a sign that says Shady Rest, because when I talk to people about Shady Rest, some of them don't know what I'm talking about. But it's Scotch Hills, but it's Shady Rest at Scotch Hills. I'm disappointed that the library has a flat budget. It is the one place that every citizen in this town can go and read, go to movies, attend seminars. Their programs are outstanding, and I just cannot believe a flat rate. Mr. Marabelli, you talked about the technology, and yes, a website might be fine, but you have many seniors who rely on the newspaper, who rely on flyers, be it that blue flyer that Mr. Festa talked about with all the recycling and the town pickup, et cetera, et cetera. I asked this question, and I don't know who is going to be responsible for this, but how do we control all our technology, and how do we account for it? There should be very accurate inventory control, and if you are going to replace the technology that you have with newer things, where does the older technology go? Does it get auctioned off? Does it get taken home? I know that there are nursing homes that have been given technology things for like Ross Hospital or a nursing home, so they can use it. I mean, even if they're just playing solitaire, it's something for the residents at the nursing home to use. Thank you.
Would anybody else like to address the council? Seeing and hearing no one coming forward, would anyone on the council like to weigh in at this point before we close the public meeting? Or should we close the public meeting first? Let's have a motion to close the public meeting.
Mayor, I move that the public hearing be closed.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye. Mayor, I move that this ordinance be adopted on second and final reading and be advertised according to law.
No.
Okay?
I would like to ask if anyone on the council at this point has
Yes.
a comment on this year's budget.
Yes. I do want to thank the manager. You were very good about thanking all of the people who put an exhausting amount of work, as always, into creating a very efficient and appropriate budget, and I do want to thank you for the time that you put in as well. I know you have been very good, 7 days a week, very late into the evening at times, and very early in the morning about answering our questions, our telephone calls, our emails. I appreciate it, because it's not always easy for us to get to you during the day with our other responsibilities, but I really do appreciate how available you have been to us. I also want to say that we have an outstanding auditing firm, and I echo your sentiments. Everything that you said about Ms. Majeski, you couldn't be farther from. You're so spot on. She's done an excellent job for us. She brings prestige to this township, and she makes sure that every dollar goes exactly where it's supposed to. And it's with great trust that we vote on our bill list, because we know that she has seen them and scrutinized them. So thank you for all that you do there. I just do want to make a couple comments. Your goals and objectives were excellent. They are overarching. There's a lot there. There's a lot. And a lot of the conversations that we've had is you've been very realistic about the amount of work that does need to be done to bring us to where we need to be. I worry often that we may need some more leadership. We may need some additional folks to assist you in that matter. I wonder if we spend our money differently, and if we allocate resources in certain directions, if we will be able to be more successful, to be more out in front of grant opportunities, so that other townships aren't beating us there. I appreciate how receptive you've been and how much work you've been willing to take on, but I do look to get you assistance sooner than later, because the reality is there's just a tremendous amount of work that needs to be accomplished. I appreciate very much that you included in your presentation, Mayor, is there anything?
What?
That you included in your presentation comments about the downtown and the beautification of the downtown. I really do believe that this needs to be front and center in our priorities. And it's hard. It's hard when you look at that list to say what becomes number one and what becomes number two. But so much of this township is really looking at this downtown and saying our residents deserve a home that they can be very, very proud of. And because this is the center of our township, we really have an opportunity to do something fabulous here. So I hope that we can make those efforts, we can really expedite that process. I also did want to say that my one wish that we could have incorporated onto this particular budget through the capital bond ordinance, although we can get there next year. And I think you know that I'm going to say the fields at the Terrell Middle School. I understand there are several entities that come to play there, but I hope that we can continue to look to that. It has the potential to be a wonderful recreation facility and really be fabulous fields for our kids to play on. And right now, they really are not in good condition. So I'm hoping that we can just if you're starting next year's list, if you could put that on the list, that would be fabulous.
Actually, it's still in the mix for discussion for this year.
Great.
There's been some talk, and the mayor and I spoke at that same shared services meeting about having some partnership with Fanwood and the Board of Ed to maybe even go in for the county grant jointly and come up with some dollars to do that field in phases. So it's not even off this year's list.
That's tremendous, and I really do appreciate it. And I just wanted to thank you again for one last set of comments that you made this evening, where you talked about the fact that this budget really will be a living document. Tonight, we'll be setting limitations, we'll be setting goals and priorities, but I very much appreciate that you look at the needs and you understand the difference between needs and wants. And we have some very real needs in the township, and we have to look and make sure that we're spending our money as efficiently as possible. And when we're looking at 38 vehicles in a department of 45 people, we have to really ask if we are spending our money most efficiently. If for no other reason than creating some parking space in the downtown, I think we could do a better job in that area. Thank you.
Done? Finished?
I'm sorry,
No,
I didn't realize.
I want to know if you were done.
It's the biggest vote that we do all year. You know, Mayor, I like to
No, thank you for vetting
take this
your
stuff
concerns.
seriously.
Does anyone else have a comment?
A few comments.
Please.
Yes, I'd also like to start off by thanking our manager, Mr. Mirabella, and our staff, our CFO, Mrs. Majeski, and the other department heads who I all know have put a lot of time and effort into this budget. Thank you for taking the time to meet with me at odd hours of the day, bright and early, and I'll see you at 7-something tomorrow morning. I guess like Mr. Terry, I'll risk being labeled a wise guy, but my first comment would be, well, we can do better. I think that's been said from this seat before. And I know some people might not realize it, and it's tough to say this when you have a zero tax increase, but you can do better. You can have a tax cut. In fact, the Township of Summit had such just last year. But in all seriousness on this budget, obviously, I'm a little disappointed. I would have liked to have gotten a little bit more money for the library, and I'd like to have seen that line held a little bit tighter in the legal department. But the reality is, I get it. It's majority rules on the council, and so that it'll be what it'll be. And by the same token, though, I'm thankful that some of the priorities that I did want, such as, for example, the Bird Avenue work, is getting included in the capital budget. So I'm appreciative that some of those important things are going to be moving forward. Look, no tax increase certainly is a very good thing, but I feel compelled to remind people that in the short run, you can always use various maneuvers to hold down a tax increase. In the long run, tax increases are driven by spending. So the real measure of a budget is not how much is the immediate tax levy, but how well does the budget really control spending. In that regard, I find many areas of this budget are drawn up very tight. That's a good thing, and now our manager is tasked with providing quality services within that budget. And he has indicated he has confidence in his ability to do that, and that's a good thing. I do want to point out, however, that when it comes to spending, tonight the capital budget is being introduced as well, and it has almost $3.5 million of spending included in it. It's by far the largest in many years. The capital budget, it's important to understand, is where we borrow money to pay for things today, so it has no effect on this year's tax rate increase. However, it is still real spending, and the bill will ultimately have to be paid. I also want to highlight a couple specific items with regards to this year's and the goal to obtain a flat budget. This year, unlike last year, we're no longer leasing new police vehicles in the operating budget. We're instead buying the new police cars in the capital budget. And I have no problem with that. I think it's fine to finance the purchase of new police cars. But I think it's important that people understand that that's one of the ways we're getting to a zero budget this year. It's in a sense like we're buying today now on a credit card what we used to be paying for with cash. Another item I want to highlight is health benefits. You heard some people talk about that before. And you heard Mr. Mirabella explain that when he came in, he wanted to take a careful look and cross the T's and dot the I's to make sure that the unions and everybody was comfortable with the change, that it would be equal to or better. And so he took the time to do that, which is fine. But that does mean we're moving to that state health benefit plan in July as opposed to April 1. I think the figure you heard people refer to is $450,000. That would be how much our cost of health insurance would go up in the township had we stayed with the private plans. So look, I'm glad we're going to state health benefits plan. I'm glad everybody agrees it's a good thing to do and that they're comfortable that we're making this change. However, if you look in this year's operating budget, the line item for health group health benefits, the expense there is only increasing by $30,000. So we have a known increase in expense of $225,000, but we're only budgeting for $30,000 more. So in that regard, you kind of see a little bit of what's going on to get to this zero increase this year. So in conclusion, I'm sorry to quibble, but I think it's important to have a couple of these issues on the record. In conclusion, it's not a bad budget. After all, it's a zero tax increase, but it could be better. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comment. Anyone else? Well, let me just kind of put a bow around this thing and wrap it up. One, I'm happy, Councilman Jones, that your sentiments finally embrace my long sentiments, standing sentiments, is we can do better. And Mr. Marabella, I won't belabor this point, nor Mr. Jeske. I've been on the council for 7, going on 8 years, and I must say, we finally have. And the proof in the pudding will be next year when we come back here and hopefully produce just as prudent, as smart a budget as we look for other efficiency within our municipal budget that clearly are there, but notwithstanding, take time to get to, all right? They're organizational issues that will produce the kinds of efficiencies and savings and improved services that our taxpayers deserve. So with that, once again, I've said it before, thank you, Mr. Jones, we can do better, we finally have. Onward and upward. So with that, let's see, what are we going to do? We're going to, we've closed the public hearing. Ms. Lucina, can you read into the record what we're doing here?
Yes, the resolution. Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Scotch Plains, County of Union, that the budget hereinbefore set forth is hereby adopted and shall constitute an appropriation for the purposes stated of the sums therein set forth as appropriations and authorizations of the amount of $14,696,622.02 for municipal purposes, $197,624.16 open space, recreation, farmland, and historic preservation levy, $1,320,717 minimum library levy. Summary of revenues. Surplus anticipated, $2,970,000. Miscellaneous revenue anticipated, $4,789,607.34. Receipts from delinquent taxes, $800,000. Amount to be raised by taxation for municipal purposes, $14,696,622.02. To be added to the certificate for amount to be raised by taxation for the minimum library levy, $1,320,717. Total revenue, $24,576,946.36. Summary of appropriation. Within caps, operations including contingent, $16,851,645. Deferred charges and statutory charges, municipal, $2,114,577,000. Excluded from caps, operations, $1,696,149.36. Capital improvements, $1,000. Municipal debt service, $2,056,575. Deferred charges municipal, $7,000. Reserve for uncollected taxes, $1,850,000. The total appropriations, $24,576,946.36.
We're getting excited by that 24,000.
I know.
I gotta tell you, boy, that would be sweet.
That's
We'll-
up
we'll-
a couple of zeros.
We can do better. Well, anyway, with that said, may I have a motion to approve the 2015 Township of Scotch Plains municipal budget?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2015 Township of Scotch Plains municipal budget.
Is there a second?
Second.
May we have a roll call?
Mrs. Checchio?
Aye.
Mr. Del Sordi?
Aye.
Mrs. Giovanella?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mayor Glover?
Aye. Well done, thank you, everybody. Would it be appropriate to say thank you to all your staff?
Have a nice night. Safe drive home.
Safe home,
Thank
everybody
you.
who's leaving.
Good to see you, Warren.
Okay, now we put Mr. Mirabella back on the spot, all right? We will do the manager's report.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. I have a couple of things on my list here, so I hope I don't go on too long. I want to start by saying, I didn't get a chance to really address the group at the last meeting for some comments, so I just want to say a couple of quick things. One is, I know the township was kind of shaken by the loss of former Mayor Mauro Cecchio, and I wanted to just give my public comments about, what Mauro meant to me, the mentorship and friendship that I had with him over many years, and wanted to just add that for everybody. I do want to note also that this year we had a very successful Easter egg hunt on March 28th, I think. Joanne Glover and the Cultural Affairs Committee for that, working with township employees and Recreation Committee to pull that together. But really the thanks go to the Cultural Affairs Committee. They're doing a great job, and they have some good things planned for us moving forward. I wanted to give this council and the residents of Scotch Plains an update, quick update on the Darby Road event. It was successful. Everybody had a good time. We worked within the parameters that this mayor and council have given, working with the neighborhood. But in the spirit of trying to improve the process and even move forward to next year, I called the directors and the leadership team that was involved in an after-action conversation to talk about what happened, how did it go, how can we do better next year, and I think we can just make that process better and have it easier, not only for township employees, but certainly for the merchant and the neighborhood. So we're going to be working towards communicating and putting a checklist together, working earlier in the year leading up to that event. And I'm glad it went off without incident. There was nothing, no problems. It was a good event for Scotch Plains and for Darby Road.
Can I ask you a question about that, if you don't mind?
Yeah.
Am I going to mess with your flow?
Nope.
Okay. Did we use directed patrols this time? Because in the past, one of the phrases associated with events at Darby Road has been directed patrols, and that's been kind of an ongoing concern of mine. I was under the impression, based on our pre-planning meetings, that we were not going to be using directed patrols. What directed patrols do essentially is take a police car out of a neighborhood and direct them to another area. So I've gotten some conflicting information about whether or not directed patrols were used for this particular event. So I was just wondering if that was anything that came out in that kind of, so you would like me to ask those questions, not on the spot?
No.
I'm sorry.
I mean, that's fine. I mean, anytime you have a big, significant event in a particular area of town, you're going to have more patrol and more police presence. Darby Road did hire their own police and security, both, at their own expense, not ours. But I would imagine that the chief would have said, hey, this is going to be 300 people in this tent. Let's make sure we have some more patrol in that area. Not only for the safety of the residents that are participating in the event, but in that neighborhood that lives there. And I want to recognize that there was, less feedback from the public in that area. There was better, I think, work in the parking lot area, which had been a trouble spot. Darby Road did some of the things that we asked them to do as far as, reconfiguring their strategy there and hiring more police at dedicated time. So I thought everybody kind of came together pretty well to make it a successful event. I don't know specifically that term directed.
So if you could just maybe put in your notes, because that is a term that's been presented to the council on more than one occasion by the chief in reference to Darby Road. And I want to preface it by saying I'm not certain whether or not that took place for this particular event. I just would want to renew my concern that while obviously many residents enjoy the events there, and I think it's a tremendous asset to the community for so many reasons, we can't forget our neighborhoods and the fact that we have homes to protect and property to keep safe. And we certainly don't want a message out there that during the Oktoberfest and St. Patrick's Day events, Scotch Plains is the town to, you understand? So
Yeah.
I'd like to make sure, moving forward, as you continue to work with your team in preparation for future events, I would like to stay away from the use of director patrols, whatever possible.
Okay. No, and I got to tell you, I see Mr. Pasucci there. I saw Mrs. Pasucci last night at St. Bart's, so I have a nice keeping in touch with your family. But and I don't know that everything was 100% from his perspective, that he would have liked it. But I do know that we were out there. I mean, Joe from Darby Road and I went to the Pasucci's on Friday night, talked through some things, make sure that the noise volume was where it was, and the police did what they were supposed to do. So I think we're on our way. I don't believe they're having an Oktoberfest, so
Well, if they are, I'm going to sell Zapalas on Mr. Pasucci's front porch with T-shirts that say, "The guy that lives behind Darby Road," right?
You're welcome.
Okay.
No, I have a good friendship now too with Mr. Pasucci, so we're getting along very well. All right, continuing my report. The zoo property has been, quite the topic of conversation, not only from a remediation standpoint, what to do with that land long term, and how we could tie up or not tie up the property, but just the work that American Water has been doing in that property, using it as an intermediary, a staging area. And I can tell you that I heard probably from every member of this council, but certainly from this mayor who drives past there every day, about the mound of dirt that was growing and growing and growing. We had several meetings with American Water, at the mayor's direction, and we talked through, what we could do to make that a little bit better, at least tolerable for the residents in that area. And I got a call from the site manager today that said they've taken 150 loads of dirt out of there. So anybody that's gone there recently has seen that come down. And the mayor and I both said, late last week or middle of last week, no more dirt in that area. It cannot continue. And just the work that's being done there is to take dirt out of there. The work on Portland and Park and Martine is starting to wind down, and then the project will be done. They told us that park will be totally clean by April 30th. Okay? So that's what we heard from them. We've also talked to them about what they can do to help the township, not only put the park back the way it was and the roads back the way it was, but if there's anything else they can do, and they're going to work with us on that. I was very proud to represent the mayor and council at Ashbrook Nursing Facility to celebrate the 100th birthday of Helen Rosner. Her family was there, and for a 100-year-old woman, she was very sharp and was really excited to get the proclamation that you all put together for her. So that was a pleasure for me. We talked about the state health benefits plan and the timing of that a little bit. I do want to tell you that sign-ups have begun for our township employees. They started today. They will go on next Thursday as well for employees that need to fill out their paperwork in anticipation for the move on July 1st. I want to give a quick update on the Recreation Commission and the status of the petition that's been filed. The clerk will be certifying that petition by the end of this week. The council then will have an opportunity to discuss within 20 days what direction you all want to go in as far as that petition is concerned. But for me, the whole process was pretty interesting because I laid out very early, way after I got here, how I would like to see the township organized and how I would like to see reporting done. And I made the argument that a direct report from the recreation director versus a commission was the best strategy. That's what I recommended to the mayor and council. Since that vote, and since you accepted that recommendation for me, the only frustrating thing for me in the process was some of the misinformation. And I want to make that clear and not belabor it, but certainly put on the record, at least from my perspective. There was a lot of communication about the loss of field access or the cost of fields and fees, and that was never part of the conversation. And I think a lot of people in town were discuss with them about, let's save Scotch Plains Recreation. To me, that was nonsense. There was never any intention of reducing any field access, charging any fields. From my perspective, and I think that the intention of the council was to move from a commission to a committee and have the recreation director report to me. I wanted to say that and give my thoughts. I know the petition was completed. I expect that we'll certify it, Bonnie, this week, and then the council will have a decision to make as far as how best to move forward. I don't want to go on too much. I think we've talked enough about recreation, but I wanted to give you my thoughts from my perspective. We did, and good news, I think we got news on the mayor's birthday last week that the Department of Transformation gave us a grant of $120,355 to mill and pave Glenside. And I really want to thank Joe Timko, who did a lot of work preparing that grant and submitting it. And the fact that we're getting $120,000 in is a good thing for this township, and we're going to be moving forward with that. And that's the kind of grants we're looking to go after and gather and get more of. Speaking which, I mentioned earlier that part of the initiative is to go after more grants, and there's 4 Union County grants coming up. Probably know 3 of them are the same as they've been offered regularly over the last several years at least. And I'll just let the mayor and council know, you guys probably know about this. The Kids Recreation Trust Grant, Preserve Union County, which is designed for preserving historic buildings throughout our county, and that is offered every other year. Kids Recreation is offered every year. Greening Union County is for trees, and that's offered every year too. This township has taken advantage of this. I hope we'll continue to do that on a matching standpoint. And then a new grant, which we're going to be getting some more information on, is an infrastructure project grant, and that is coming out. There's $1.5 million of county dollars being available for the county, different municipalities, and that money is taken as the county's way to give back dollars, bless you, from the sale of Reynolds Hospital. So that's part of the distribution back into the communities through infrastructure projects that are ready to go in 2015. Okay, so that's an exciting new grant. I want to give a quick, I'm sorry this is long, right?
It's excellent.
It's long, right?
It's riveting.
May 1st is the Mayor's Gala at Snuffy's at 6:30. For those of you who haven't signed up, I encourage you to do that. This Thursday, Scotch Plains will be participating in Take Your Children to Work Day. I don't know that this township has really done all that much for this kind of a program in a day, but this year we are, so we're excited about that. I hope we see a lot of kids around the township. We're going to have the fire trucks out and some of the public works trucks out and have a good day. Emergency management is busy. I'm working with Chief Mahoney and Sergeant Hernandez to make sure that that 2 of our plans are put in place and in the right way. The 2 are the hazard mitigation plan and the emergency operating plan. These are both due as a state regulation and a county regulation to be in a position to be prepared for emergencies as they arise. We are planning a tabletop exercise, which hasn't happened in this township, and as far as anybody can remember, to simulate an emergency and how the township would react to that to be in a better position for a real emergency. So that is all going down a good road. We have 2 donations, which we will have on the agenda for next month, of vehicles that Union County is donating to the township of Scotch Plains to help the assessor's office and also to help with the pool cars for resources. And there's always a struggle, maybe not in some departments, but for all the rest, there seems to be kind of a struggle for vehicles. And the county had two vehicles to donate. And lastly, I wanted to talk a little bit about Hidden Meadow Drive. I got an email from almost every member of council today, and certainly the mayor as well, about what's going on there. I talked with our engineer. That is, for people that maybe don't know, is a street that is a new street in Scotch Plains, and it's being finished. The developer, I think, sold the last house, and his requirement, and our requirement to him actually, is to finish paving that road and then turn it over to the township for maintenance. We had significant issues with snow removal and plowing. Was their responsibility, and they didn't do it, the contractor didn't do it on a regular basis. So the frustration is high from the residents there. They pay a lot, and they deserve the services, and we're waiting. So May, they should be doing some planting and finish the paving, and we can turn that street over to the township, and we'll manage it better than it's been. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other reports from special committees?
I have a few things, Mayor.
Please.
I just wanted to tell you that our district superintendent and our excellent school district business administrator took a good 2 hours with me, where many administrators would have been on vacation, to meet with me and walk me through the budget. It was a lengthy meeting. It was a good conversation, and I was very grateful for their time. What really struck me the most was that they weren't meeting with me because I'm the deputy mayor, because I'm the liaison. It's because I was a member of the public who reached out and asked for assistance in understanding the budget and really going through key points. Those of you who have followed the school budget closely over a number of years know that we don't go out to bond for capital improvements at the school district level. And as a result of that, there are costs absorbed into the operating budgets. Let me just give you an example. Within the operating budget, there was $40,000. And $40,000 for a school bathroom. You think about what it costs to do a bathroom at home, and it seems like such a minimal amount of money. But we use our own labor and our own resources to make sure that quality work is done, at a very prudent cost. But the reality is, school buildings get old and they need work. Park being what it was this year, we needed technology improvements, and Scotch Plains, to no surprise, the Scotch Plains Fanwood School System was able to navigate through that assessment successfully because of the resources they had in place. There is ongoing conversation, and I know amongst the goals that came out of strategic planning is the possibility of full-day kindergarten. So my son is a 4-year-old going into kindergarten in the fall. That will not be a possibility for him. However, the year after him, the class after him, our school district administrators are working very hard to explore that reality because of what it means as far as the quality and the delivery of instruction. They are not in a position where they can commit to that at this particular moment because of some infrastructure improvements that will need to be made. Quite frankly, space is an issue when you're increasing the number of classes, but and there are issues in Trenton as well. The conversations about pensions, et cetera, that could have a significant impact on municipalities and on school districts. So I just want everyone to be mindful of the fact that we did have that discussion. After reviewing it, it's a strong budget, it's a very thorough budget, and it's a very efficient budget. They are not spending money haphazardly, and I would continue to say that the quality of instruction being delivered in our schools really adds significant value to the homes in this community, and it's something that all residents should be mindful of. I know that they are also looking for students in their preschool program, especially the preschool 3. We enjoy a number of private preschools in this community and access to a number of private preschools, but having had a child who's gone through a private preschool and my son who went through our public preschool program, while it is a paid program, the cost is not significant, and it is excellent. It is an unbelievable program, and for many children, it is a really nice way to have them and the families acclimate to the school system so that they have those relationships prior to kindergarten. So I just did want to make sure that the public's aware that there are still openings for preschool 3. I want to thank the mayor and the manager and our fire chief for allowing me to be part of that process this evening and swearing in the new members of the fire department. That was really a fabulous opportunity. And not as a report of a special committee, but I want to thank you also, Mr. Manager, for just hearing me out on my level of disappointment. I, along with members of the council, and I know the mayor attended the services for former Mayor Cecchio, I would have liked to see a stronger presence from the township there. It really took me back to not see, I mean, you know, obviously the United States Marines were there. They did a fabulous job in honoring this man, who not only was a very long time mayor, whose families contributed a significant amount to this community, but also the uncle of a former governor, a state governor who was in attendance. And I thought it really was a missed opportunity to give honor to that family, and also to show the fine folks that we have here. So, thank you.
Thank you. Any other special committees, please?
Yes, I have some information from the Recreation Commission. Senior transportation for residents or senior citizens is available and provided free of charge by the township. Our bus service includes transportation to senior, social clubs, shopping, and mall trips, as well as medical transportation on an as-needed basis. To register or for more information, please contact or dial a ride number at 908-322-5151. Our seniors are also taking a trip to Woodloch Pines. The Scotch Plains Golden Agers are sponsoring a trip to the Woodloch Pines in Hawley, Pennsylvania on Wednesday, May 13th. The trip includes a wine and cheese tasting, bingo, boat rides, a buffet, and beer and wine. The cost for the entire trip is $60, including transportation. The trip leaves at 9:30 a.m. from Scotch Hills/Shady Rest and returns at approximately 5:30 p.m. To register, stop in the recreation office. Small Fry program is open for registration. The program is open to children ages 3 to 5 and have yet to enter kindergarten and are potty trained. Our program features 3 two-week sessions beginning June 29th and ending August 7th. Each session has 2 time slots, a 9 a.m. and an 11:30 a.m. session. Limited space is available in each of the 2-week sessions and in each time slot. Spring Recreation Review. The Spring Recreation Review is out now and available online at the Township's website. The review features programs for the spring, as well as some of our summer weekly camps. Registration for any programs offered can be done online by visiting the Township's website and clicking on the Community Pass link. Scotch Hills Golf Course. The Scotch Hills Golf Course is open for play. Memberships are available, which entitle members to reduced green fees and other benefits throughout the year, and there are a variety of memberships for adults, seniors, and kids. So for more information, please call the Pro Shop at 908-232-9748. Thank you.
Anybody have any other reports? Okay. We're going to have to vacate the premises, please, for safety reasons. Thank you, everybody. Let's not dilly-dally. Let's follow the sergeant's instructions. We will adjourn. Yeah, we have a motion to temporarily adjourn the meeting.
Mayor, they can make a motion.
Is there a
temporarily
second?
adjourn the
All in
meeting.
favor? Aye.
Aye.
And then I totally forgot. I totally forgot. I was like, I didn't say something.